everyone, welcome back to Poppin' In with Alexa and Molly. I'm Molly.
And I'm Alexa.
And we have a show for you today.
Yeah. We're back in the studio laying down some tracks.
Yes. You said that before we started recording too.
Okay, well, I didn't know you were going to call me out like that. But that's fine. I'm glad, like we were saying, we didn't get to record together last week because I was sick, so we were on Zoom. So now, like, the energy is high, the vibes are going. My chair is squeaking, so sorry about that.
We had to record multiple times the intro. And now I don't hear anything weird.
That's all I can hear.
But we are talking today about something that we both love.
Yes.
Downton Abbey.
I have to give a little asterisk to this. So yes, I love Downton Abbey.
You haven't seen the movies.
I've seen one movie, and I haven't watched the show for 10 years. So when I watched it, it was literally 2017 when I watched it all. Because I remember I was at my first job, and there was nothing to do, so I would just sit in the bathroom watching Downton Abbey. And then Matthew Crawley died, and I cried in the bathroom at this random. It was an awful, awful job at this random place. And I had to take the day off. Yeah.
You sat in the bathroom and watched it at work? Did I hear that right?
Sometimes.
That's wild.
It was me and my crazy editor, the one who I was he literally came in one day. He was high on LSD, or sorry, acid. Are those different? I don't know. Acid. And was playing fish. It was just us in this one room. He played it for 6 hours straight. Blasting it.
I'm gonna go live in a different world right now.
Yeah, I was just this is a joke. It's this is crazy. He's on acid. I'm watching Downton Abbey. Nothing was getting done.
Nothing made sense. No. Nothing was getting done. Which I gotta say, sometimes watching Downton Abbey is like being on acid, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute because there were some bonkers plot lines. I believe it.
So I have done very minimal research, but it hits my feed because people. I'm sure my algorithm is this bitch loves a period piece, and there's just a couple of things where I'm just the first movie I watched after the show came out, I was and then I think I watched half of the second movie, and
the second one's a little convoluted. It's they're making a movie. And they make it at the house,
and I literally is that the one with the assassination attempt, or is that the first one where it's
remember that
Sybil's widow? He's trying to I don't know. Yeah.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
I can't remember which
that
film
might
that
have been
was.
the first one.
Okay,
I totally forgot about
because
that.
I literally watched. I was I want to preserve my memory of this show.
Whoa, I totally forgot about that.
It makes me. It's the closest I feel to Sex and the City fans. You know what I mean?
Where no. Okay, so here's the thing. So I see what you're saying. However,
sorry, I'll let you talk about the thing you've actually seen.
Well, okay, so I finally saw. Well, not finally. It just came out, but last week I saw the final Downton Abbey movie. It's called the Downton Abbey: The Final Era, and it's the last film in the franchise. And let me just say, I texted you guys this. I enjoyed my movie theater experience.
Yeah,
I
said
really
it was
did.
Great.
I'm so glad I saw it in the movies. I saw it with my parents because we always loved Downton Abbey and we always watched it together. And I'm so glad I saw it. It made me regret not seeing the first two movies in the theater because it really is a grand, the way they film it, it's so cinematic and just grand that I think we watched it on streaming, but seeing this in the movie theaters with a packed theater. And it's all people who just love Downton Abbey together, and everyone was laughing at the funny moments, which I probably wouldn't have even realized was funny if I'd just been watching it by myself, or just at home, but it was just fun seeing it, and it was just a very grand experience.
I think a theater going experience, or it's something like that, where it's everyone who's there really loves this thing. Obviously, they're on their third movie, and we're all seated, and it's of course, I think it just really heightens the experience of the movie.
Yeah, and I had never, I had never experienced Downton Abbey other than with my parents, but I had never watched it with others. So it's fun to be I had forgotten how popular it is because it was a sold out theater. It was packed. And I was I guess it's a very I forgot that Downton Abbey was huge.
My ex-boyfriend's mom used to have Downton Abbey tea parties all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas every week they would get together and they would dress up and they would have a tea party and watch the new show. Also, I want to formally apologize to your mom. She was saying something to me a couple weeks ago whenever I saw her about Downton Abbey. And again, I haven't seen it in 10 years. And so she was referencing a character and I just was yeah. I said, sure. I was and I'm so sorry, Cindy. I should have been honest with you.
Well, I hope you're prepared slightly today because I will be discussing the show.
No, I am, but I might need like some refreshers.
Yeah. I've really rewatched the show multiple times. Like, it's definitely a comfort show for me.
And that's the thing is, like, I'm curious before we get into like the movie, like, what do you think it is about Downton Abbey that, like, out of all the like period piece things that have come out, like, people love this show?
Yeah. I think because it's got slightly a soap opera thing to it, where it's like, the storylines are actually very dramatic. It'll all get figured out, but like it's always like the stakes are really high, but at the same time it's just fun. As we've talked about it before, like I think we were talking about it with the Gilded Age, where it's just like it's nice to see people in like it's just fun to watch rich people in a different era. And it's just a very classy, and like you're kind of in this other world, like you're living in this other world.
And there's something warm about it. And with all of Julian Fellowes' things, I would say like his darkest work is probably, and I haven't seen all of it, but from what I've seen, is Belgravia, and even that isn't like dark. You know?
And Downton has some dark plots, but sometimes it's kind of like it feels like out of place almost because it's Downton Abbey.
But there's something like there's like a warmth to it. Even like where
comforting.
they live is very warm.
And also, so for me, I love a show about a family. Like, I love when there's a huge ensemble cast. That's usually what gets me into something, if there's, like, a ton of characters. And, like, so I've always loved that. But I felt like this movie was definitely a love letter to the fans, and it was a really emotional send-off. People were sobbing at the end. I could hear people audibly, like, sobbing. And I was like, it just made me really happy to watch. But for those who don't know, basically, the movie takes place in 1930, and it follows the family kind of facing, the fallout of Lady Mary, she's sort of the main character, being at the center of a public scandal. And then as well as like the family dealing with, financial issues, and they kind of have to make like a big decision. Yeah.
Before we get deep into it, we should say right at the top, 7 minutes in, that we may discuss spoilers in any of the topics we talk about, but we always post the timestamps in our episode description and on our Instagram at Poppin' In Podcast. So if you want to watch it, come back and listen as you should, then feel free. But just know, we are not contained yappers.
Yeah. And so I don't know if I'm really going to get into spoilers with this one because it did just come out, but
what's the scandal though?
I don't think this is like too terrible to say, but Mary is getting divorced from her husband. Yeah, which is like
I love him.
Did you? I mean, I feel like I didn't even know who the husband was. Was it?
It's the guy from Department Q. I forget his name.
Was it him? I don't know if that was her actual husband in the movies. By the time, movies? I couldn't remember.
He was in the show. You're
talking about Matthew.
Not Matthew Crawley, but her new
Matthew
one.
Good. No, I'm saying
Matthew
like the
Good.
Actor.
Yeah. They're getting divorced though. Why did we go through all of this?
So it's Henry Talbot. Who plays Henry Talbot?
Yeah. So he's in the grand finale.
Yeah, it is Matthew Good. He's not in the grand finale though. He was not in the movie at all. Unless I am not thinking of something, but I don't think he was. Anyway, she's getting divorced from him, which is a huge scandal at the time, and it's like like people are now like, we don't want any association with you. Like, get out of you have to leave this party, and it's like obviously it's like a whole thing. And it really, but so that was interesting. I feel like
I love divorce plots in the early like turn of the century.
It's like murder.
It's crazy because like there's a whole plot. Well, I won't say, but like there's a whole plot in another show that they talk about it, and it's crazy where people are just like, divorce, and it's like, they just don't want to be together. I don't know. Henry VIII did it, and we made a whole new religion.
Well, especially in the Catholic Church, like people are like, we will not get divorced.
Yeah.
But anyway, but the family like sticks by her, and there's a few other plots, but basically, it's definitely like now we're in the 30s, so it's like kind of interesting to see sort of a new era.
Does she still have that fuck ass bob?
Oh yeah.
I hate that haircut for her. I'm sorry, but it is. I know it's like of the time of the and this is why I love the 1920s. I could never pull off any of the aesthetic. Yeah. And I don't think honestly, Mary Crawley, that haircut, girl, it wasn't for you. Yeah. And that's okay. But you've been wearing it a long time. All the way to the 30s, get rid of it.
Yeah, I think she had it. I can't actually remember what her hair
It was like the bangs. And like the flapper cut. I remember when she got it in like the
know.
first movie or like at the end of the series, and they were like, she was like, it's the style now. And I said, not for you.
I can't remember if she had it in this movie, I'll be honest. But
anyway, sorry. Continue.
So, and then they're at the same time, they're dealing with like maybe having to sell Downton. Ooh. And yeah, it's like a whole thing.
Downtown Abbey, no.
Not Downtown Abbey. But anyway, I really did feel like it was actually very good. It got really good reviews. I went back and because I didn't want to look before I saw it because I was like, I don't care. I'm here to see Downton Abbey. But it got really good reviews. It got like a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I was like, all right. And then it really was like a very, I won't spoil it, but it really was like a very emotional ending. There's just like one scene where like everyone was like sobbing. Not me, but like everyone in the theater was sobbing. I like to hear people audibly.
Molly was cracking her knuckles.
Yeah, and it just felt like a really good send off. And so, but some notable things about it. And this is a hot take, but for those who watch the show, like Thomas is my favorite character on the show.
Irish Tom?
That's Thomas. He's the gay butler.
Oh.
So he's like now nice. Like he's like a good person now. Okay. He used to like not be, but he's like happy now, whatever. Yeah. And so, but he's like barely in it because I think like now that he's not evil, he doesn't really, there's no use for him anymore. Yeah. Like they show, I'm not saying that, but I feel like that's what the writers think. And so he's like really not, he wasn't really in this. He was in like the first scene and the last scene, but I was a little disappointed with that. Also, just Anna and Mr. Bates have been completely erased from the movie narratives. Like
what?
Well, if you've watched the first two, like they are not in it. Like they have no, and I think it's because honestly they went through so much on the show that
it was crazy.
I think the writers are like, let's give them a break. But I will say, so Bates was like barely in it. Anna had a little bit more of a storyline in this one, which was good. But yeah, I was just kind of like, damn, they're really not part of this movie. They come and just collect their checks and leave, honestly. Which, okay. And Tom was barely in this one. He was in it for like a little bit, but I love Tom, so I was a little disappointed in that too.
Tom is I think my favorite character outside of Mary.
He's a really interesting character, and he was in the movies a lot. Because Tuppence, what's her name? Tuppence. I want to say it's like Middleton or something. I really love her. She's a really good actor, but she plays his new wife in the movies.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's like a really hard role to play because like you're replacing Sybil essentially, but she does it. They do a really good job with her character, and she was not in this one because supposedly they had another baby. But Tom was like barely in it either. He like didn't have a storyline.
Also, that actress. So I've seen her in like multiple things recently, and she's always in like a period piece thing. It almost reminds me of Keira Knightley a little bit, where it's just like seeing her in something modern would almost be a little bit too like wait.
She was in Black Mirror. That was the first time I ever saw her in something.
What episode of Black Mirror was she
in? The one that really scares me. White Bear.
Is she?
Yeah, she's the girl like. She's one of the ones that like helps her, quote unquote, but like she obviously like works for the thing.
I need to look that.
Yeah, I love her, but
I love her look. I love her eyes.
Yes. Violet also like Maggie Smith. This was the first movie that she like wasn't in, and her presence is very much missed.
Did they?
But they do acknowledge that she's they do a good job of like. Capture. I don't want to spoil it because there is just like a scene at the end which was just like really emotional, but like. They just do a good job of like honoring her, but they don't dwell on it. Like it's not like a huge plot point. They're like, yep, she's gone. Cause she died actually in the last movie.
Okay.
So her character had died before like Maggie Smith passed away. But, anyway, but they do like the movie's like dedicated to her and stuff.
Oh.
And also like Mary and Edith get along now. And that makes me really happy. It's just like, oh, cause thank God they're like in their 30s or 40s. Like get over yourselves.
I don't know. Have you seen Succession?
I know, but they're sometimes like towards the end of the show, I was like, come on, y'all.
Yeah, and I will say, I've only watched the first movie, but I was looking at this article. It was like the jewels of Downton Abbey, and it was talking about all the like different like jewels they wear in the season, and just like even Edith's face, like it was just, she just annoys me. Yeah, like she was just doing this smile where she was just like.
She's really cool in this movie, though. She's like really.
She's a cool bitch.
She is like. There's one scene because again, like they're dealing with Mary's divorce and like. There's like a whole thing because her reputation is kind of being like tarnished, and Edith, like, stands up for her, and she's like, if you fucking come for my sister, like, I'll kill you, like,
wow.
And she's, like, really cool, but, like, in a cool way. Like, she's like a bad bitch now.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess she's had to be, because she was a wet blanket for, like, a billion seasons.
They definitely, she got, like, very lucky with, like, her writing with the movies.
I'm not kidding. I think there was, like, one point during a season where I literally would just, like, fast forward through a season. It was like, I just don't care about this plot anymore.
So I'm going to get into that, because she had some wild plots, and, like, she had some really unfortunate storylines.
Okay.
Like, when you think about it, when you go back and think about Edith, like, remember when the guy, she was, like, obsessed, because she couldn't get any men.
Yeah.
So she was obsessed with that old guy.
Yeah.
And everyone was kind of, like, cringing, because it was just like, okay, he's, like, old. What are you going to do with him? And then he proposes to her, but, like, he really doesn't want to get married to her. He's just kind of just like, I feel bad for this girl. And then he jilts her at the altar.
Yes.
And she's, like, obviously, like, devastated.
Oh, my God.
It's one of the cringiest
But the thing is,
storylines
like,
ever.
I get it.
No, I get it. But because he's just like, I can't do this, and leaves her. It's actually so upsetting. Anyway, but yeah, that was I'll just say,
because you were
like,
saying there's some plot points that are, like, crazy.
I wanted to go through them, because I don't know if you remember any, but I also want to just talk about my love for Downton Abbey.
Yeah.
But that's kind of all I'll say about the movie. I mean, that's all I can really say. It was really good. I enjoyed it. If you're a fan of Downton Abbey, I think it's a really good ending to the show. I think it's a very solid send-off, and I think it needed to end. I think 3 movies were good.
Yeah.
But
I think that might have been too much. Yeah.
No, but it was good. I really enjoyed it. But it did make me think about, like, the show, because there was one line in the movie that they sort of nod to. If I don't know if you remember, but it's like in the first season when Mary sleeps with that Turkish guy, and he dies in her bed.
It's like the first episode.
It's like one of the first,
and it's
couple
based
episodes.
on a true story.
Yeah, he dies in her bed, and they have to, like, sneak him out, and it was just, like, and they make a joke about it in the movie, but it's, like, a subtle joke where everybody was, like, laughing, and it's like, yeah, I forgot about that. And, like, it made me think about all the crazy plot lines from the show, so I was just gonna kind of go through them.
Yeah, I need a refresher. Give me.
So there was the guy that pretended to be their cousin. He was a burn victim, and he was, like, this random American who pretended to be their cousin.
And wasn't Edith, like, trying to say that she was in love with him?
I don't know. It was really crazy, though. It was really random and weird.
And then it was like, but Mary was supposed to be engaged to him, and then Edith was like, no, I love him. And it's like, well, he's not even a real person. So...
and then Cora's miscarriage caused by Miss O'Brien, which I don't know if you remember that.
No.
Yeah, she, like, so Miss O'Brien thinks she's gonna be fired, so Cora's pregnant, and
oh yes,
but I don't think she knew that she was pregnant, because that's pretty fucked up. Maybe she did, but she puts, like, a bar of soap in her bathtub, and then Cora slips and falls.
Yes.
And Miss O'Brien was, like, about to stop her from, like, she felt bad in the last second, but she had already slipped.
Yeah.
And she loses the baby. It's, like, really fucked up.
I do remember that. Oh my God.
Robert this is later in the season. This is when the show, this was, like, truly, like, a jump the shark moment where I was like, the show has just really jumped the shark. Yeah. But Robert getting sick and throwing up blood all over the table randomly during dinner. He, like, it was, like, projectile vomits blood, like, from a horror movie. It's, like, really crazy. And they're all just like, ah! It's crazy. He, like, has a tumor or something. What is he? He has, like, cancer or something. And he just vomits blood everywhere. And I was like, what?
Oh, my God.
And then talking about Edith, I also said Edith and the baby. Remember when she had the baby? It's still now her baby, Marigold or whatever, but she had a baby, and then it was adopted because it was with, like, a guy that just, like, left her. And then she tries to kidnap the baby from the adoptive parents. She, like, she goes and visits the baby too many times, and the mom's kind of like, please leave.
Yeah, because the mom, like, doesn't really know, but she's, like, starting to piece it together,
yeah, and
right?
she's just like, you're scaring me, please leave our house. And then takes the baby. They finally get the baby and then take it from, like, this poor woman who, like, she loved her. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
Also, I gotta say, like, I'm sure you remember this, but the whole Mr. Green and Anna plot line where he essayed her.
Yeah.
And then she goes to prison for his murder.
Yes, that was crazy. That was when I was like, I was definitely, I was like, what's going to happen? But I was like, this is stressing me out.
It was so stressful, and it was so unnecessary after all that Bates and Anna had been through on that damn show. Like, the fact, like, Bates had already gone to prison. They were just constantly going through it. And then for that to happen to her was already awful. Like, you don't want to see that. And then he dies. And then she goes to prison for his murder?
Awful. Yeah.
I was like, what are they doing to these poor people? I think that's why the movies are like, they're like, we're good on Bates and Anna. Like, we don't need any more of that.
We've done that.
How did you feel about Bates and Anna?
I love Anna. And I think, like, I liked their relationship. I liked seeing how it grew. But I think, like, he just was he was boring to me her.
He was boring. I thought he was a little too old for her.
But I would say it's my second favorite love story my third favorite love story in the show. Because number 1 is Matthew and Mary, obviously. Number 2 is Sybil and Tom, obviously. Yes. And then I would say number 3 is them.
Well, because, like, who else?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think...
Certainly not Edith.
Edith and that old man.
Yeah.
I think... with Anna and Bates, like, they loved each other, and that was really sweet. But sometimes I kind of got, like... I got that, like, dark and mysterious thing from Bates when I was kind of like, he isn't...
That dark or mysterious?
Yeah. And I just was kind of over it.
I just can't imagine, like, I don't know, spending every night with him for the rest of my life.
I always thought that, too. Like, they had to go home in their little house
because she is, like, a golden retriever person. Like, you know what I mean?
She's so nice.
She's so nice. And he got
mad because she was, like, laughing. This was what pissed me off about the Green thing, too, was, like, she would laugh at his joke. The way they wrote this was so, like, it almost felt, like, misogynistic, where it was, like, she would always laugh at his jokes, Green's jokes, and Bates hated him. He was like, I don't have a good feeling about him. Like, he was very jealous. Yeah. And then turns out he was a bad guy and assaulted her. Yeah. And it was like, oh, okay, so now Bates is right. Like, great. Yeah. I don't know. Something about that just was, like,
because of
weird.
the time period, the whole time it made me nervous because here's the thing about Bates. Like, Anna's so kind and good, but when that whole thing happened, I was like, I don't know how Bates is going to react.
So the thing that bothered me was, like, she was so scared to tell her husband because she knew that he was going to kill him. And I'm like, if you're that scared of that, then, like, maybe he's not a good guy. I don't know. I mean, I assume a lot of men would want to kill for that, but, like...
But here's the thing.
The fact that you're genuinely
if I told Chris that, he would be very upset. He would be, like, you know...
Yeah.
But I never in any world would be like, he's legitimately going to kill someone. I'm
terrified that this man is this violent.
I don't think I've ever had a thought in my head like, oh, my fiance's maybe going to kill someone.
I'm so glad I can have this conversation with, because I've just always been thinking about it. I've rewatched the show so many times, and I'm like, that storyline really bothered me.
And I think sometimes it makes me mad because, like, those kinds of storylines where it's like, I'm not going to tell him because of how they'll react, and it's literally just like a miscommunication storyline that, like, happens in so many sitcoms, and I think that is honestly, like, a little bit, like, the miscommunication storylines are sometimes lazy to me.
And when I think about that storyline, it felt like it went on for the whole season. It felt like it went on for so long. And I rewatched the show, like, year or two ago, whatever. Like, the most recent time I rewatched it, I was like, it's actually only 3 episodes, maybe, but it felt like so much.
Yeah, it felt huge.
It felt like huge.
And again, like,
and
it would be different if... Like, I think they did, like, the Matthew and Mary thing so well because it really made you love both of them. Whereas, like, with Anna and Bates, you really love Anna, and you're just like, because I love Anna, I guess I'll love Bates.
Right.
Whereas, I'm like, they could have really written Bates to be so much, just more. Yeah. And, like, because, like, Anna is the only not the only person, but she's, like, I would say, picture of, like, the downstairs. Yeah. You know? Mm-hmm. And... like, they just could have... Justice for Anna. She deserves better.
Yeah.
Let me put her back on the market. Let me get her a better...
Because Bates is, like, a genuinely good man, but also...
is he?
But, like, he's nice. Like, he's a nice person, and he wants the best for people, but, like, he is also just so boring and just kind of, like... He's just too old for her, I think. Like, I don't see... When I see the two of them, I just don't see the two of them together.
I feel like Anna was sometimes, like, a little bit funny. She was a little bit fun. And it's just, like... He's not.
He was all about how miserable his upbringing was. Yeah. And, like, I don't know. But anyway, Matthew and Mary were both, like, perfect characters. Yeah. And even in this movie, like, Mary is, like, you know, she's going through this scandal. They're all at this party, and she's going through this. Everybody's like, they're like, hey, you got to leave because somebody important's coming, and you can't be seen here. Yeah. And she's like, that's fine. Like, I'll leave. You guys all stay. Like, don't leave on my account. Like, y'all just stay and have a good time. Like, I'll leave because I'm a failure now. And, like, not really, but, like, you know, whatever. I just love her as a character. I think she's, like, I love, like, strong characters.
Women.
Yeah, strong women.
Women. I am curious. So, in terms of like two things. One, I remember watching the show and then watching interviews with the actress who plays Edith, and it was almost like you could tell that the actress was like annoyed by the storylines.
Yeah,
because
probably.
they just made Edith so unlikable,
so pitiful, and
I think like
just pathetic.
Yes, and the thing is, with all of these actors, I honestly haven't seen any of them do anything else. And I was reading this story the other day about how I forget who plays Mary.
Michelle Dockery.
Yes, about how like they had like put a wrap on the show or something like that, like it had ended, and she said that she was just like, okay, great, or whatever, and then she was one of the ones who was like calling people being like, we have to go back.
Really?
Yes.
That's surprising because she is, out of everyone, I would say, probably the most successful.
Is she? Like, I mean, she's been in stuff, but I've never heard her, like, getting good reviews for anything else.
I would say more than anybody else. She was in a show recently that came out on Netflix called, like, what was it? It was something about I forgot what it's called. She's not in good things necessarily, but I would say she's at least in things. Like, I haven't seen anybody else really in stuff. I mean, I would say, like, Alan, I think his name is Alan Leach. He plays Tom. I would say he's in things.
Yeah.
But, like, other than that.
See, I feel like he was in things
Hugh
before.
Bonneville's probably also in a lot of stuff.
I haven't seen The thing is, I've seen them in stuff before Downton Abbey.
Oh, really?
But I don't think I've seen them
in Alan Leach was in Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And other things.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I just, like, it was interesting when I read that where she was like, we have to go back. I just don't feel like the stories are finished. And I was like, girl, I think they're good. I think.
You know, get your checks, though, because honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, do you have any, like, crazy storylines that you remember?
The thing is, I'm just, like, remembering them from you. It's like I remember more of, like, the characters and stuff. I mean, obviously there's the whole thing with, like, Sybil that always sticks out. I
mean, that was, like, well written, though.
That was well written. I think, like, the whole relationship between the mom and the dad was always interesting. And I think it's kind of almost, it reminds me of the mom and the dad in The Gilded Age too, where it's like, oh, you think like they really love each other, and then you're like, do they really love each other? And then you're like, oh, they really love each other. And
Cora, I will say, we can't, like, I don't know how she's in other things, but we cannot stand her acting. Like, my parents and I were laughing the whole movie because she every time she would speak, she always makes this like face, like Mary.
Yeah, I was listening to Hugh
Robert, and we're all like, ooh.
I was listening to Hugh
Bonneville.
Hugh Bonneville. There we go. He was on. Oh my God, Ed Norton.
Graham Norton.
Christ,
I was just thinking about that.
What is going on? Anyways, Norton show where they were talking about like people complain about his storylines and how apparently like he is written to be kind of like an idiot in some things, and he's like, well, I mean, literally, it's like a dog, your name is on like a dog's ass in the credits, so like what can you say? And I was like, I guess that's so his dog Isis.
I'm picturing that actually. There's no Isis in this movie. He has a different dog.
I think the dog died at some.
I think they had to kill Isis off. They were like, we can't use this name.
It's been like 20 plus years also.
Well, but also like I think they were like, this name does not
which
fit
is a shame because it does have other meanings and it is a lovely name otherwise.
It is, but yeah, they have a new one.
But their relationship is interesting. And also people have said that it's coming, that there's like almost like a Downton Abbey Gilded Age crossover. Not like crossover, but you'll see like they are like almost in the same world because the Gilded Age is like right before Downton Abbey happens. And you know that like Cora is an American heiress who like marries like an English whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, that's interesting. But also I don't need the crossover. I don't care, but I guess it makes sense.
I think it's interesting. You don't really seem to ask me much, but I am in season 2 of The Gilded Age.
So it's because I don't want to say anything that's going to spoil anything.
I was like, you never seem very excited about it.
I'm watching it
for you.
I am very excited about it, but like when you finish it, then we'll like discuss because I just don't trust myself to like not be like, like what about this? And you're like, what?
It would make me mad if you spoiled something though. I don't think it's like that crazy to spoil.
There's some big things in season 3 that I think like were like some gasps and some like kicking my little feet and like whatever. Where are you in the Gilded Age?
Let's see. Last night I watched, I want to say it was like the 4th episode of the 2nd season. It's called Head to Head. That's all I can tell you because I kept because I fall asleep to it, so I kept really having to rewatch it. I'm at like they went to. Oh my God, why can't I like not tell you a single plot line? Well, the opera thing is happening right now, like where she's trying to build the opera.
It's actually really interesting because I didn't know that about like the Met.
Yeah. And also like Yeah.
Okay. Who do you hate? Who do you love? Do you have any predictions?
Well, I still think about you saying during the episode that you talked about it, where you were like, I think they're going to get together. And I'm like, I think I know who you're talking about, but I won't say because whatever. You're not going to be able to respond to it. But I think I know who you're talking about because you're like, you felt that way from the beginning. So like, obviously it's two people who have known each other from the beginning.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
Okay, my favorite character is Christine Baranski's character.
Yeah. She has some good lines. I love her
just, like,
interacting with Oscar.
Oscar and Ada. Like, I just...
Yeah.
Ada's interesting. She's, like, almost like a child, which is weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's crazy. I guess Cynthia Nixon's actually a very good actor because, like, that character and Miranda are so different, and it's, like, it's wild. But
like, at first when I saw she was cast in this, I was like, interesting. And then I was like, okay.
And she's good in it, but I'm just like, it's just interesting to hear her speak like that. But I love Agnes. Carrie Coon, I think her acting is great. I just don't always like her character, but sometimes I do.
Yeah.
I don't really care about, like, what's her husband's name?
George.
I don't really care about George. He's just, like, whatever to me.
Yeah, he's okay.
He's fine.
He reminds me of, like, Hugh Bonneville in, like, Downton Abbey, where it's, like, you care about him because he's there.
But, like, a little smarter. Like, he's smart, but he's also kind of, like, not necessarily. When he didn't tell her about the maid who's now, like, an heiress, or not an heiress, but who's now, like, a rich person.
Yes.
When she found out about her slipping into his room, and that wasn't the only time. She's, like, also been flirting with him. And he was like, I didn't think it was a big deal to tell you because nothing happened.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? It's psycho.
It's crazy. Yeah. But there are times where you're just like, wow, like, they really love each other. But then there's times where you're like, this is a marriage.
I don't think they probably do love each other. I don't think of them as being, like, romantic. I think of them as just being a power couple.
Yeah, but I think, like, they bring out the best in each other, but also the worst.
Yeah, but I don't think of them as being like, wow, couple goals. Yeah. Like, I think they're just like, oh, they're like a badass couple.
I think there's some things in the, like, what is it, 4 seasons now? That where I think like
3,
or
right?
3, yeah. In that I think, like, bring a little bit of depth to Carrie Coon's character, because Bertha is honestly, like, my favorite.
I forgot that's her name.
I hate that her name is fucking
I just
Bertha.
always call her Carrie Coon. I literally didn't know her name was Bertha.
I call her Mrs. George Russell.
Or Mrs. Russell, because everybody says Mrs. Russell.
Like, we just don't need to acknowledge her Christian name, I guess. Bertha.
Horrible.
But, like, they get into some stuff that, like, makes her character more like emotionally interesting, and I just think, like, I'm excited to learn more about her.
Yeah.
I think she is the most realistic character to me. Because some of the characters I think are like, and I think Julian Fellows does this a lot, where it's just like, they're just so nice.
Yeah.
And that's one of the comforting things about it. Like, I love watching The Gilded Age because of that, you know?
Yeah, I feel that.
I will say Belgravia, I think is...
I've never watched that.
It's really good. It's 2 seasons, and, like, the first season takes place around, like, the, like, Waterloo battle, and then, but it's not, like, about that, but then the second season is, like, the children of the people in the first season, and it's just, like, I think it's just more dramatic and a little bit darker, and nobody ever talks about it.
Yeah,
I don't know
because I've never heard of it.
It's
genuinely,
great.
I've never heard of it.
I love it.
But yeah, I like Oscar. He's probably my favorite. Oh, Ella Purnell was in Belgravia.
Yeah, she was.
Well,
and in the second season, this is explicitly, like, for your mom's information, but the girl who plays Ellen in Blood of My Blood was in the second season of Belgravia.
Cool.
That's what I know her from. And I think she's beautiful, but I think once you finish Gilded Age, if you're in the mood for a period piece, if you're like, I want to see some more corsets and stuff, give it a try, because I really like it. It's one of my favorites of his. It feels more real.
I did look up why there's so many Broadway actors. I'm not kidding. Every episode there's another Broadway actor in it, and, like, it's crazy just how many Broadway actors are in it, including Carrie Coon. Like, she's a theater actor. And obviously Christine Baranski. But, like, there's so many, and I looked it up, and it actually makes sense. So I guess they filmed during COVID, so like Broadway actors, like, needed work, and so it was just easy to book them. And then also I think they film in New York, and also they, like, theater actors usually can get, like, the dialects down really well, and so I think that's
because it is a very specific dialect of that time period, where I almost thought, like, oh, are all of these people bad actors? And then I was like, no, they're just, like, embracing a dialect.
I didn't mention what is Meryl Streep's daughter's name?
Oh, I don't remember her name.
What's her character's name?
Marion.
Marion, yeah. So Marion, I like Marion as a character. I think she's a little boring, but I think she's very nice. But like, I don't know how I feel about her acting. I think she's a genuine Nepo baby.
Yeah, I think she's okay.
She's fine. Yeah. But anyway, that's Downton Abbey.
That's Downton Abbey.
I didn't really have more to say. I think we talked about it enough. But
yeah,
I love Downton Abbey. I was really happy. I felt like it was a very good send off.
It's like again, that theater experience. It's just like when I went to go see Pride and Prejudice, like the re-release in theaters, and I was just like, this is lovely because we're all here loving it.
Yes.
Like literally, like the screen could blow up right now, and we'd just be like, that was great because we loved it.
Love that.
But also, like, what you were saying when we were talking about, like, why do people love Downton Abbey? And I've said this before. I am here to say I don't want to see, and I don't want to see, like, poor people stuff in the past. Because it's too depressing.
Right. Well, it's going to be, like, they smell horrible.
They smell bad. They're, like, all dying of disease. Like, you know, it's awful. And I'm sorry for that, and we should, in history class, learn about it. But on my elegant screens, like, I just want to see some, like, you know, rich people being clean and in their beautiful homes. If it takes place 100 years ago, life was rough, and I'm good.
Yeah, that's fair.
Life is rough now, so I just don't need to be reminded of that. I just want to see some pretty dresses.
We just want to disassociate sometimes, and that's okay.
But, so our question of the week this week was about Downton Abbey, and we asked, what do you want to see?
What show would you want to see made into a movie? Like, if there's a TV show that you love and you want to see, like, similar to Downton Abbey, a movie made out of it, movie follow-up, like, what would you see?
And as always, if you want to answer our question of the week, follow us at Poppin' In Podcast on Instagram. We ask one pretty much every week. And if you don't answer, we'll know and we'll be upset.
Yeah. And we'll threaten you.
Yes. This honestly is an answer for the fans, not necessarily me, but I'm sure people would love a Game of Thrones movie, and I'm shocked that they have not done that.
I think just because, like, I don't think they could bring the cast back. I feel like because the show just kind of ended on such a sour, negative note. I just don't see them being able, like, I don't see Sophie Turner returning for a movie. You know what I mean? And, like, I just think it... And they're making House of the Dragon. There's another show coming out.
What?
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't know that.
That's what I thought so.
They need to get the plots for House of the Dragon right first.
I know.
They need to stitch that up.
I just do not care about that show.
George Martin needs to finish the books.
Yeah, how about that?
George R.R. Martin. Sorry, we're on a 2-name basis with him.
But yeah, I think that's a good idea, but I just don't see it ever happening. I think they're more focused on the shows. But, yeah.
That was just like my first thought, but it's not like my purest like desire. You know what I mean?
What would be your desire? Like any show.
Any show?
Yeah.
I would love, but the thing is they already made a spinoff, but I would love an Outlander movie.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe they'll make one, but I would love that. But the thing is they got to get the plots right. I don't want a dumb, like, this past season of Outlander really pissed me off. So I'm like, I don't want that. That would be good. Or I posed this question and I literally, like, haven't thought about it. So I need to think. Maybe, like,
It's okay. We didn't get a lot of answers, so. I know.
No.
Yeah.
That's upsetting. I don't know. I'm trying to think of, like, a show that I was obsessed with. I loved, like, no, actually.
there is one, isn't there?
I was going to say a Gilmore Girls movie, but no, they did a 4, like, hour-long episode, and it was awful. A Gilmore Girls movie where we put some restraint on Amy Sherman Palladino, because she's the writer and, like, showrunner, or whatever, or not showrunner, but creator. It is, but I think it's the same thing with David Lynch, where it's, like, once he was on streaming and he was like, I'm just going to, like, write this how I want. It's like, I think you maybe just need a little bit of, like, editing and, like, critique, you know?
Yes.
You need the restraint of a cable network sometimes.
That's fair.
But I could see them doing, like, a stupid, like, not stupid, but, like, a Gilmore Girls, like, Christmas movie or something.
That's fine. Have you watched BoJack Horseman yet?
Oh, I started watching it, and then I literally watched the first 15 minutes, and then I got distracted, so I need to go back to it.
I actually thought about today. I heard the theme song, and I was like, I'm very excited for Alexa to experience this show.
If we run out of Divided, should we start watching that?
Yeah. I mean, I've already seen it, but yes.
Oh, yeah, so is Chris. Well.
But yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's actually shockingly, and you'll see what I mean when you watch it, it's actually a heavy like show to watch. Like it's not like a light comedy.
That's what people have said.
It's really existential. Like
I would love a Mike Flanagan horror movie. Anything he does, I would do.
I think he's like making a lot of movies.
Really? I need to look it up.
Or is he making any? I don't know.
He's doing a Stephen King something. Oh, he's doing Carrie.
Yes, I'm very excited for that.
Yeah. I think that'll be good. Mindhunters. You know what I think about all the time?
Okay, they need to bring that show back. I never even watched it, but I'm like, for the fans, bring that show back.
It was really good. It's shocking it got canceled, but the fact that how many people want it back, I get like something every week on my feed where it's like fake AI thing or whatever, where it's like Mindhunter's script has been picked up by this streaming service. And I'm like, no, it hasn't. It has not.
I know.
It will never come back. It is. And the mind has been hunted.
Yeah, it's crazy because like. They make such other bullshit for Netflix. Like, you can't just make one more season of Mindhunter.
People loved it. It was popular. I don't know why they canceled it. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's wild.
So, mine is maybe Mad Men.
Oh, my God. I can't believe I didn't say Mad Men.
Just because, like, now they could be, like, in the 70s. Yes. And, like, that would be really interesting. And I don't even know if I really want it. But, like, that's the only thing I could really think of.
I would almost love, like, a Mad Men. Here's my thought. I would love a Mad Men prequel where it's, like, before, like, because it takes place in the late 50s, early 60s. But it's, like, when advertising, like, really at the, like, birth of advertising, and it doesn't have any of the characters or anything, but you're just like it's in the same world. You know what I mean?
So then they should do like a spin-off show, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I probably have talked about this before, but going back to Downton Abbey, what I always really wanted, and I'm shocked that they never thought to do this, kind of similar to what Bridgerton did, like they should have made a spin-off series about Violet in her younger years. Because think about like how spunky that character would be as like a main character. She's so funny.
Which one's
Maggie
Violet?
Smith?
Oh yes, yeah.
Her name is Violet, right?
Yeah,
I think her name is Violet. And she like would have been that would have been a very good show if they had gotten like the right actress for it. Yeah, because they allude to her having, especially more in the movies, they allude to like her having like this past and like. She had, like, a lot of romances, I think. So it just, like, I'm shocked they never did that.
That is kind of surprising. Interesting.
But yeah, Mad Men I think would be good. The thing for me, though, is I never really want a spinoff. Like, I never want a movie because I'm just, like, leave shows where oh, wait a minute. What am I sitting here saying? I just want one more thing of Succession. I just want to see those characters again, just once.
Yeah. But I don't want a Succession movie.
I like miss the characters as if I know them. Like I almost feel like they've like died and I just like I'll never see them again.
Like a 30-minute clip of just like what are they doing right now?
I would love a movie. But I don't because I do think we should end things where they are. I do think Succession could have used just one more season. But I'm not mad about it because they really did wrap it up in an amazing way.
Like Peaky Blinders is having a movie, and I'm excited.
I was a little surprised though.
Yeah, like the last season of Peaky Blinders, I kind of was like not about.
It's really whenever I rewatch it, and I've rewatched that show 30 times.
Yes,
it is hard for me to get through the 6th season. It's hard, but I'm excited for the movie. But it was. I feel like I'm yapping like a chihuahua. Like, feel free to cut me off at any time. I do feel like I've been, like, yapping tonight.
You're good.
It's the espresso martini.
Yeah, the fall-coated.
Yeah, Alexa, what we're drinking tonight. Yeah. We can't pour anything, but Alexa has made, like, a fall espresso martini because it's the first day of fall.
I literally just I was like, apple cider, apple whiskey. There we go.
We have our Halloween shirts on.
Yeah, we both
do.
Wow.
Anyway, Peaky Blinders movie, I was kind of like, okay. Like, I was a little surprised. I wasn't necessarily wanting it, but I will be seated for it.
I'm surprised they never did, like, a Walking Dead movie.
Because they have so many damn spin-off shows of that it's like,
we're good.
But yeah, I am a little surprised, too. Ah, damn. Okay, so Eric said Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But he said maybe a Succession spin-off movie around Kendall Roy after Tom becomes CEO.
Wow, Eric, get out of our heads.
I know. He also said White Lotus would make a good movie too, but like White Lotus isn't over, so
yeah, that's true. It would though.
Yeah, and then Liz said still holding out for Community because that is like a big one. Like all the fans really wanted a Community movie. Like they wanted like a last season in a movie.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Okay.
I watched a little bit of Community.
I've never seen any Community, actually.
I think you would like it.
I probably would.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like, it's cute and it is genuinely funny. What I know about the behind the scenes of it all kind of makes me not like ever want to get too invested in it, just because like Chevy Chase was just such an asshole on the show. He kind of ruined it for everyone. He was like racist towards Donald Glover and like just was like weird. I don't know.
I forget that Donald Glover was on that.
Yeah, there was a lot of drama on the show, but anyway, but yeah, those were good answers. Again, if you ever want to answer our question of the week, we post mostly every week, so follow us at Poppin' In Podcast.
Yeah. But okay, so we just have to do a little bit of housekeeping here. This is a subject we've been meaning to get to. We didn't get to it last week because our Zoom kept cutting us off, but we a couple weeks ago did a movie assignment for each other.
Yes.
And let's just touch on that. Let's just see how it went.
Yeah.
So if you didn't listen, so Molly assigned me The Little Hours, and I assigned you Brooklyn.
I feel like it's been so long, I literally couldn't remember what I assigned you.
Yeah, I feel like it's been so long since I've watched it, I'm like trying to remember like what I originally wanted to say.
Yeah, so who wants to go first? Do you want to go first?
I don't know. You have like a look on your face that I'm curious
about. I don't know. Who do you...
Okay, so I watched The Little Hours, which is based off of a story in the Decameron, which if you don't know is a like set of kind of it's like a farcical like parody story from the Plague era Italy. And if you don't know, you should watch, Molly, I really want you to watch the Decameron, the show now.
Oh yes, you have told me that.
Because if you liked this, then I think like you would like literally the Decameron. So it was interesting though, like because so it was written and directed by Aubrey Plaza's late husband. And I was curious like what drew him to that. But it like the whole time, one of the things I kept thinking about is like, again, the Decameron is like plague time era, and yet like a lot of the stuff from it, I feel like humor is so interesting in terms of like humanity sometimes, where it's like sometimes it's like, okay, you can tell like this humor is very specific to people in the 1950s or whatever, is very specific like to a time period where you're like, oh, people like thought this was funny. And then there's certain humor that like really feels like it transcends time. And I feel like you get that like in Shakespeare a lot, or like the Decameron is one of those things where I'm just like, this has been hundreds of years and it still hits. You know, like the way it's written. And again, it's not exactly like word for word from the Decameron. It's like played off of that, but it's like the vibe is still there.
But it's modern. It's like the way they talk is so modern. Yeah. Like that's what makes me laugh about it. Like they just have like such like,
and like even if you read
voices.
The Decameron, like the humor is it feels very modern. It feels very fresh, and it's just like, wow, people are laughing about this when they were dying of the plague, and they're laughing about it now.
I really wanted you to watch it because I just think about it often. Like we just watch it, and it's not even laugh out loud humor. I just am like sitting there just smiling while watching it because it's just the way Aubrey Plaza is just. What are you doing? Like, it's just like so funny to me.
And the thing is, I literally only learned recently that Alison Brie and Dave Franco were married. So watching them like kind of sort of have sex like as a nun and a deaf mute,
but not a deaf mute.
I was just like, interesting.
Yeah.
Good to know. But
Good to know?
Well, I don't know. It's just like, okay, interesting for y'all. Yeah. You little freaky deaky kind of people. Anyways, and I think like what's interesting is my favorite scenes, and this is just me, in the movie were with Fred Armisen, and I realized
he is so funny.
He's so funny, and I'm like, I realized this is a personal preference because anything he's in, I'm like, I'm
cracking up.
He's the funniest person in everything. The scenes when he was in when Barry were so funny.
Yeah, I forgot about that. But the scene where he's talking to them and he's like, he's telling what's her face that she has to go on like a hunger strike or whatever, and she's like, okay, that's fine. He's like, no, it's not fine because I haven't explained it yet.
Yes.
He's like, you can't just skip meals for 3 meals. He's like, you'll pick one meal.
He's like, because it's like for 3 months or whatever, and she's like,
no one can eat.
You can't not eat for 3 months. Oh, remind me to tell you a plot of a trailer I watched recently. But anyways, so I really like that. What I also thought was interesting is it's quite jarring whenever movies don't have any music.
There is some, but I like the music in it. It's like some weird.
Yeah.
Do you remember the scene where did you like the scene where Jemima Kirk is there and
she's
like, they're like singing, they're like, do, 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 do,
yeah.
she's just sitting there like.
Yes,
If you haven't seen it, it's
yeah.
hard to explain. I'm not giving any context.
But it's like it's every now and then, and you don't realize until you see something where there isn't a lot of music where you're like, this is quite stark.
I think they're just singing. I don't even know if there is actual music.
I don't think there is. It's like kind of it's not a quiet movie, but it makes it.
It's quiet, yeah. I also love Nick Offerman when he's talking to his wife and with Dave Franco, like, and he's just like the two of them just really crack me up. I don't know.
Yeah.
The whole I love the movie.
And nobody ever like I never heard anything about it.
That's why I wanted you to watch it. Matthew and I love it, but I had never like seen anyone else watch it. So I was like, I'm gonna tell Alexa because it's a Decameron. So I was like,
yeah.
So did you like it?
Like, yeah, I did.
Good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Woo. Okay, so you watched Brooklyn.
I did. So, yeah, Alexa assigned me the movie Brooklyn, which I had never seen before, and I think I've, like, mentioned... Well, you've been trying to get me to watch this movie for a long time.
Yeah, it was like, at one point I gave you 2 options between 2 movies, and it was a tough choice for you at the time.
You did. You made me choose between Brooklyn and something else, and I did choose the other thing.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But yeah, for those that don't know, Brooklyn is it stars Saoirse Ronan.
Love her name.
New mom. Saoirse.
Shout out to her.
Congratulations. She and Jack, what's his name? Loudon have a baby together now. That's beautiful. I didn't even know they were together until recently.
I literally only think of her as the little girl in Atonement.
Wow.
Always. And in this movie.
So much more.
And in this movie. I know she has done some, yeah.
And
this is the movie, whenever I think of Saoirse Ronan, I think of this movie first.
And you know what's crazy is she looks so young in this movie.
Yeah.
And I guess it did come out about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was 2015.
I watched it like 3 times, or 2 or 3 times on a plane to Italy once, and that was 2016.
That's crazy. She looks like a baby though, but basically she plays this young Irish woman who's from a small town in Ireland, and but she's immigrating to Brooklyn in the 1950s to like find employment, and she wants to build a new life there. And she meets an Italian-American man who she ends up marrying. But like this devastating thing happens in her family, so she has to like go back to Ireland. And then when she returns home, she kind of realizes it's like not the same as it was before, and so she kind of has to make a decision. But the thing about this movie is there's like a lot of like historical background because it kind of focuses on the time of a lot of like the boom of Irish immigration to New York. And so, you know, a lot of women immigrants were like in search of new jobs, and they were actually it's interesting they were putting focus on like employment over marriage.
Yeah.
And so that was just kind of like interesting to see. So that makes it sort of for an interesting romance storyline. I guess kind of a love triangle.
Yeah. I think that's what I think is interesting about it also is I love that time period. I love the outfits she wears. I love her like working at the department store, and I'm just like I'm like picturing myself in her position just being like, I'm a woman of the world.
I know.
I've come from Ireland to New York.
And then I gotta say, being on a boat, just awful.
Oh yeah. If you ever want to see the most realistic depiction of like a boat trip from like Europe to America, watch Alias Grace. It's it's based on a novel by Margaret Atwood, where it's kind of like this woman who's accused of a crime or whatever, but literally they show like everyone's like throwing up the whole time.
Yeah.
You're in these like tight quarters, and granted that's like 1700s, but I mean not much has changed between when, you know.
But even, like, she has to use a bucket, like, to... And I was like, ooh, like, ugh.
Yes, and she has, like, rude roommates, right?
Yeah, but then the one girl, like, helps her.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. But I thought the acting was really good. I remembered that Saoirse was nominated for an Academy Award for it.
Yeah, I think this was nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, it was.
When it came out.
And I definitely understand why she was. She was very good in it.
And it's based on a novel that I always mean to read.
Oh, okay.
I think it's by Colum...
it's based, I don't know who wrote it, but it is based on a book. And the thing that's interesting about the movie that I appreciated was I feel like a lot of like immigrant focused movies are usually like male led. And so this was interesting to see like a female led one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought that was nice.
I thought that was nice too. And I love that they taught, like, the thing is, I love that she goes back. I think you never see, and like, just like, the thing is, what really struck me about that movie is her leaving home, and it's not like us being like, oh, I'm just gonna move to London or whatever.
Right, it's a whole journey.
It's like life savings to buy a ticket.
Yeah.
You're probably never gonna see your mom and your sister again.
Yeah.
And like, then she eventually is able to go back, and it's like everything's changed.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting to see how like you're on the other side of the world, but it's just like your hometown is changing without you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, that really struck me. And the love triangle, I think, was really complicated.
I do love Domhnall Gleeson. He's one of my favorite actors. So, like, I don't know how you felt about the relationship with the, like, Italian-American guy. But I just I didn't like that. I felt like he was pressuring her to get married. It was it almost felt like a little bit manipulative because he knew.
It reminds me a little bit of like an Edward Jacob situation where I was never Team Edward or Team Jacob. It was always when she is with Donald Gleeson. Yeah. Donald Gleeson. I was like, oh, she should be with him. And then when she was with the Italian American guy, I was like, oh, should be with him.
They were cute, but I just felt like she would not have returned if it wasn't for her marriage to him. And I feel like so that felt like just kind of a little bit I don't know. I wasn't sure how to feel about their relationship. Like, I wasn't sure if we were supposed to be rooting for them.
I think it's like a comparison of like, this is her relationship when she goes back home is literally like, this is a connection to home. Yeah. But her relationship with her Italian American is
like, this is my new life.
This is a new future.
But yeah, I think.
Did you like it?
I did. I'm not a huge romance fan. Yeah. I do like a period piece. So for that, I liked it. I'm not a huge romance fan, so I don't see myself like watching it again, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah. And that's why I was like, I don't normally recommend things that are romance, but I was like, it has more to it going on.
Yeah, it's definitely very layered. That is for sure.
Yeah. Again, I've watched it a bunch of times. I actually haven't watched it in a long time, but I love that movie. Yeah. I just think it's really beautiful.
It is.
Yeah. So, getting into our current affairs,
climate.
Yeah, our current whatever. So I think like we should just get into the late night shows of it all.
Yeah. Well, I think we touched on Stephen Colbert already.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of talk about that, but then like after Stephen Colbert,
Jimmy Kimmel show got suspended.
And we didn't talk about that yet, but if you haven't heard, I don't know where you've been.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I didn't know you were passing to me. Sorry. I didn't know it was a popcorn situation. But yeah, Jimmy Kimmel's show got suspended. ABC announced, I want to say it was like Wednesday.
That's crazy because it feels like a long time has passed.
Because so much has happened. Like, it's just crazy. But ABC announced that Jimmy Kimmel's show would be suspended like indefinitely. Yeah. Because of remarks he made about Charlie Kirk's death. And obviously it caused a lot of outrage because it was just sort of like everybody's like, okay, so is that where we are now? No freedom of speech? Yeah. And I gotta say, I mean, the thing that he was canceled for, it was not the craziest thing anyone's ever said.
It wasn't wild.
It felt like they were really just looking for an issue.
Yeah. And we try like really hard not to get political on this podcast, but it like seeing Jimmy Kimmel get canceled for that was like kind of a weird. Like, it gave me, like, the chills a little bit. You know what I mean? Where I was just like, what's happening?
Well, it just felt, because it felt like, what he said just wasn't, it to me was not that offensive.
Right. And again, like, even if he said something absolutely crazy, like, he has a right to say it, you know? I don't know.
Well, I could see if he had said something, like, really awful because yeah, I get it is like a sensitive subject, and so if he had like made jokes about him being murdered, which he didn't, I could see where they would pull it then.
Yeah, because his jokes are more about like the Republican Party's reaction to like the murderer.
Right. It wasn't even about the death. He was not making jokes about his death. And so it was like crazy that they deemed it insensitive and offensive and harmful to people. It was not.
Yeah,
it just wasn't.
It's just like it's interesting because it feels like there's this almost like war on late night TV right now. Right. Because a lot of I think the late night hosts right now are very liberal, left leaning, and I think like they're just getting censored for it. Yeah, like Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel, and who knows what's next.
And so this was just definitely, it felt like we're just living in a land of like censorship. Yeah. And it's actually like, it's scary. And so after all that, Disney lost like $4 billion because people were canceling their Disney Plus subscriptions. And
really?
Yep. And I think they saw that, and actually just literally today, which we're recording on a Monday.
Yeah.
But they announced that Jimmy Kimmel Live will return on Tuesday. So it'll return tomorrow. So by
Which
the time
is
this
great,
comes
but
out.
it also makes me mad that it's not like, hey, we shouldn't have done this for
I'll read
reasons.
their statement. So they issued a statement today that says the Walt Disney it said last Wednesday we made the decision to suspend production on the show to avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment for our country. It is a decision we made because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive. We have spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, and after those conversations, we reached the decision to return the show on Tuesday.
I would love to be a fly on the wall.
I know,
those conversations.
You just are scared because you're losing $4 billion. Like this was
Yeah.
all just a big show, and it was just ridiculous.
And the thing is, I loved it was like all the late night hosts like got together, they took a photo together to show like support for each other. And it's like, yeah, like if you guys band together, even if you don't, it's like you have the following.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll support, I'll like pull you up on YouTube if you know.
I love that group because they're rivals, but they're like, you know, in terms of networks, but like they're always friends and they're supportive of each other, like John Oliver, Seth Meyers, like all of them. And it's just, and
I think like, oh my God, I can't, who's the like gray hair, Jon Stewart?
Jon Stewart. He
did like he was like a Trump approved late night episode or whatever.
That was like his response to it.
And it was actually, it was funny, but it was just like, I don't know, like we just can't cancel stuff because like, oh, I don't like what they said. Okay, well, like, welcome to America.
Imagine what it'll be like with him returning tomorrow. Because, first of all, Jimmy Kimmel's a crier. I'm sure he will be crying.
Yeah.
And again, this will have already come out, so we'll see, like, if he cried. But I'm also curious how he will be, because I had read something somewhere where part of their discussions was he wanted to acknowledge it, and Disney didn't want him to.
Yeah. Well, and that's interesting. Oh, God, again, you would love Hex. Oh!
I wasn't sure if you were going to say I'd love the other two.
No.
It's always one or the other.
No, but, like, they kind of, like, get into something kind of, not similar, but, it would be interesting to see, like, if I were Jimmy Kimmel, I'm sure he's coming back because he has a contract and, like, he has to make money, but I bet as soon as his contract ends, he's going to be like, I'm finding another place to go, as he should.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. It is crazy. So that's kind of our update with that. But that just happened today. I'm sure by the time this episode comes out, I wonder who will be his first late night guest, since I'm sure it was whoever was supposed to be on there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the schedules have changed, you know.
True.
I would never want to be a booker on a late night show or any show like that.
No, but I do have a feeling with this one, a lot of people will be fine with being on there.
Here's what I hope. I hope it's like Stephen Colbert or something.
Yeah. Oh, it should be Stephen Colbert. I don't know if Disney will let it.
I don't give a fuck, Disney. Let us be what we're doing.
No, I don't give a fuck either, but they are like...
I know, but I'm just saying, like, okay, you want to recoup your $4 billion? Let him do what he wants. Let the Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, everyone's canceling their subscriptions.
Yeah.
I did see a really funny thing, though, that it's not a huge deal at all, but Noah Centineo? He posted...
I forgot about him.
He posted on his Instagram story that he was... Because a lot of celebrities are posting, like, that they're canceling their subscriptions.
Yeah.
Like, even people who are in, like, you know, Marvel or whatever, like Disney movies. And he posted that he canceled his subscription, but, like, people pointed out that, like, in the email where it says, like, his subscription is canceled, you can clearly see that he, like, because it's like you have a month left, where he clearly, like, signed up for it that day just to cancel it.
That's funny.
Which is like, all right, baby, like, do it for the cause, I guess.
Love that for you, but also, that's funny. That would be me as a celebrity, honestly. I'd be like,
trying to be like, yes.
Oops,
like,
I didn't read this email well enough. Whoopsies. But, okay. Like, to get into, like, another big man in the news lately. So, Charlie Sheen came out with I want to say it was 2 or 3 part documentary on Netflix called Aka Charlie Sheen. It was so well done. Mm-hmm. Have you seen it?
No.
I'm here to say, like, give it a watch. Like, not, like, Charlie Sheen's life story is really interesting, but just, like, the production value. And also, God, being a documentarian where, like, the person is not only a famous person, but the child of an actor. So that means, like, when he was growing up, they had a bunch of cameras
Right.
In the house and stuff.
His life was not set up for success. I feel like his life, there's no way he was going to be normal.
Yeah, oh no. But here's the thing. So, like, they start out with, like, him and his brothers who, if you don't know, like, his dad is Martin Sheen, very famous actor. I don't know why you wouldn't know that. But his brother is,
Emilio
Estevez. He has another brother.
I thought they weren't in the documentary.
They're not, but they're in, like, the footage. They're in some of, like, the footage and stuff or whatever. And so it starts out, like, showing him as, like, a young kid. They're living in California. Literally, they're hanging out with, like, George Clooney and Sean Penn, like, as children before they were famous or whatever. And they're all, like, from a young age, they're, like, making movies in their backyard together. And it's interesting because it's, like, they go on set with their dad for, like, different movies or whatever, and it's just kind of like they were all gonna be, like, movie stars from, like, and it's not even, like, because it's like, oh, I have to, like, they just, who wouldn't love movies? You grow up in that setting. But people think that he was just, like, a Nepo baby, and it's interesting because in the beginning, I think, like, they're just, like, a regular family where it's like, oh, my dad's in a few movies or whatever. Like, they're just trying to make it. And then it gets to the point where he's like a teenager and he's like maybe gonna go out for roles, and they're like, okay, maybe like you should or shouldn't or whatever, and he gets like some of his big roles, and from a very young age, it's clear, like probably from like his teens, like 18, early 20s, he has like a substance abuse problem of like just alcohol and like some light drugs, you know, some casual whatever drugs. And then like to the point where like his mom like schedules a intervention for him like pretty early on in his life. He's probably like in his early 20s. But he's just like rising to fame. And you know, we weren't really alive for this, but he's like one of the biggest actors in the world at this time. And so, but he's also like starting to get into drugs, and he's just hanging out with people who are partying a lot. And the thing is that I found interesting is it's like, I feel like, you know, during that age, like a lot of people were partying and stuff. And I feel like a lot of the biggest like movie stars now, like if you look like Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet and like Tom Holland, they're very much like, we don't drink. We don't like, we are very like clean cut, whatever. Yeah. Whereas I think back in the day, it was just like, I'm famous, I'm in Hollywood, I'm doing drugs. And like the amount, so it's interesting because it's like, he has a child with, they don't even say the woman's name. I think it's just like, he accidentally maybe got someone pregnant and he has a child, but he is like so young, he can't really like take responsibility for her. And then like time goes on, suddenly Nicolas Cage is in his life. They meet at a nightclub and they're like, you like to party? I like to party. Yeah. And the stories and photos about Nicolas Cage are wild. They tell this whole story where it's like they're on a flight. Nicolas Cage and him are wasted. Nicolas Cage grabs the intercom and he's like, this is your captain speaking. The engines are giving out and the airplane is going down. As like he thinks it's gonna be a funny joke, and obviously people are like, what?
There was one too, I'd heard that like Charlie Sheen takes over like flying the plane.
They open the documentary with that where he's on like, I think he said it was a French airplane. They're like, oh, are you Charlie Sheen? And he's like, yeah. And he's
because like, just let him do whatever.
He's wasted, and they're like, do you want to like? They're like taking pictures with him in the cockpit and stuff, and he's like, he says some term for like, is like the automatic thing like flying the plane. They say yeah, and then he's just like, and then the pilot goes, not anymore, and he flicks it off, and then it's Charlie Sheen high and drunk flying a French airplane.
And then finally they're like, oh no, never mind.
Yeah, and then he like clicks it off like when he like, I think the pilot starts to realize like, oop. Yeah. But anyway, so it's like him and Nicolas Cage are partying or whatever, but it's like he's able to kind of get away with things, you know? It's like, people keep saying it's like, even though bad stuff is happening to him, like, people love him, you know? Like, he's wasted, he's partying, whatever, but people love him, so he's getting away with it. And one of the things that I think is really spectacular about this documentary is it really just shows, like, the dual sides of a person who is, like, a drug addict. Yeah. Which is, you know, what he eventually becomes. And so he eventually, like, his parents or his dad and his family, they're all very supportive of him the whole time. And, like, that is another thing where you're just like, wow, Martin Sheen is a great fucking dad.
Well, because he says in the documentary that I've talked about the documentary with people, so I know kind of what happens, basically. But he says that the whole documentary is almost sort of like I'm sorry to his dad, because he kind of feels like he, like, disappointed him.
But it's like, I'm sure like he does feel like that, but I think like the way throughout the whole thing, it's like Martin Sheen and his brother Emilio and his other brother who's also in the documentary, like they are there for him.
Yeah.
Like they're like, okay, we're gonna get you to rehab. We're gonna like take you. But the first time he goes to rehab, this is so crazy. Nicolas Cage is like calling him drunk and he's like, hey, you're supposed to be at this like bikini judging competition in Florida. So he tells the woman, this
crazy.
It's actually reminded me of Succession so much. He tells the woman at the front desk, he's like, I have to go judge this bikini competition. If I'm not back by 8 a.m., I'll give you $1 million.
What?
And she's like, okay. And so he leaves the rehab facility, goes and does it, and he comes back and it's like 7:45. And it's like, he said, he was like, I'm like, the woman, like, she seemed happy to see me, but also like she did just lose $1 million.
Yeah, but at least he came back.
I guess, but like, it was just,
honestly, good for him for coming back.
Good for him for coming back, but like, you just offered this, you should have just paid her $1 million anyways. You're the biggest star in the world.
That's true, but I'm surprised that they talked about Nicolas Cage in that light in this documentary, because I mean, I wonder what that, like, how he feels about that.
I don't know, and it's interesting because they had like a lot of famous people there to talk about him. Like Sean Penn is, because I didn't know they'd been lifelong friends.
Yeah.
So he's there too. He also has this friend, I think his name is Tony, who is just like, he doesn't drink, he doesn't do drugs, and is like his, like literally from childhood, lifelong friend who people would be like, oh, like, and Tony says, he's like, people would say you're just latching on for the money and the fame, and he's like, no, like, this is my best friend and I want to make sure he's not going to die.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure like during his lows, he was not latching on for anything. There's nothing to latch on to.
And so I'll get into this, but like when he gets into like the lowest point of his life, like Tony says, he's like, I would sleep at Charlie's house and I would be in the room, like a bunch of people would be there. His room and my room was right next door. And he was like, I was always like checking on him because it's just like, you know, like, I don't know what's going to happen. But anyways, so then he like is sober for a while. He marries Denise Richards. And it sounds like, so they interviewed Denise Richards in it. And it sounds like, honestly, like they were really in love.
And she's also, I'm sure you're going to get into this, but she's a great person because she actually like took custody of one of his kids who is not even hers.
Right. It was, so after Denise Richards, he gets divorced and he marries this other woman who's also a recovering addict.
Yeah.
And then they end up like doing drugs together.
Yeah.
And so then that's the child, like they have a child together. Or I think it's twins. I can't remember.
Yes. Yeah. One of them, I think one of them
and
he now
Denise
has
Richards,
of.
like, because now like their mom is also, you know, back on drugs, like takes care of them.
But is she the one who's in the documentary? Because there's another woman who's interviewed. Two. Okay, because one of them I heard is like, she's not, I think he says she's not on the same sobriety journey as him. Like she's clearly still on something.
Oh yeah, so that's his second wife. So what happens is, so they have 2 kids together, and then Charlie Sheen like kind of falls off the wagon again, and he gets into doing crack by like this girl where it's like, before he's met Denise Richards, he is like, this girl calls him up and is just like, hey, like, I need some help. Can you help me out? Like, some guys, whatever. And he's like, so he goes and he rescues her and they bring him back to his place. And she's just like, do you want to do crack? Or not crack. What, when they are, meth? I don't know drugs.
Yeah, I mean.
Where it's like they have the bowl and it's lit and they're.
Yeah,
the spoon. Meth, yeah. And she's like, it's going to be the best feeling in the world, and I'm going to give you a blowjob while you do it. And it's like, imagine your first time is on crack.
Which is already the best moment of your best feeling of your life.
And you're getting a blowjob. Yeah. So he's like, obviously
I'm going to be chasing that high for the rest of my life.
Yes. So then after that, like, again, he's sober. He like meets Denise Richards, whatever. They have 2 kids. Then he gets like, he falls off the wagon again. And it gets to the point, like, he tells some insane stories. Like, at one point he's so tired on set and they're like, we can tell like that you look tired. And he's like, so then I went to the bathroom. And you think like, and they were talking about this on Giggly Squad. So I should have, because I forgot about this because it is crazy. You think he's going to be like, yeah, so I just like did a line in the bathroom. No, he says he went to the bathroom and he shoved an ice cube up his asshole.
What?
And then he went in to wake himself up. And then like they show the scene and it's just like you're watching it and he is,
you know, there's an ice cube up
like,
his asshole.
He is very awake and I'm like, yeah, because he's got ice up his ass. Like, it's like, what a, like, I guess it worked, but what a crazy solution.
And then your underwear is just gonna be like wet after that.
I don't think he cared.
I know, I'm just saying,
I've also never been so tired where like the solution.
Why would you even think of that?
The solution has never crossed my mind to be like, let me go to the freezer, grab a cube and just.
It's probably because he's been so like just out of it so many times that has been the solution multiple times.
And one of the things, again, like listening to this, Charlie Sheen is such a lucky guy because he has so many people who love him. So it's like, even it's after, so again, him and Denise Richards, he get divorced. Then he marries this other woman who's a recovering addict, and they become, literally the list I have is family, love, intimate look into a drug addict, relationships with people, Ice Cube up the butt. I was like, I can't not mention this.
It really made me laugh.
But anyways, so then they, like, he has twins with that woman. They get divorced. And then this is when he really starts to spiral. So this is when he's, like, on 2.5 Men. Like, and again, throughout this time, like, he's going to the hospital. They have, like, footage. His dad is, like, coming to, like, take care of him in the hospital. Like, his dad and his siblings are always there. Always. Like, no matter what kind of, like, drug addict stuff he's doing, they're like, I'm going to come get you. We're going to go to rehab, and I'm going to take care of you. He falls off the wagon a billion times, and they're right there. And that's, like, I'm not kidding. I was like, go Martin Sheen, because, I mean, when Charlie Sheen's telling these stories, it's like, he really put everyone through the ringer.
Yeah.
But even Denise Richards, so at one point, this is when Charlie Sheen, again, he's on 2.5 Men, but he's really, like, losing it.
Yeah.
Like, he is showing up to work late or whatever, and Denise Richards and John Cryer, so they interviewed John Cryer, who's also in 2.5 Men, are at his house. He hates
him now.
The thing is, you said that, and it's interesting.
No, like, Charlie Sheen hates John Cryer.
Oh, really?
Because he always talked bad about him.
Well, because, so I'll get into that, but so Denise Richards is telling the story and John Cryer about her and John Cryer in his kitchen, and Charlie Sheen just has, like, all of these prostitutes, like, literally just basically had an orgy, but he, like, needs help, so he's called her, and she's making a sandwich for Charlie, and then she says that John Cryer's like, what are you doing? And she's like, well, I'm making sandwiches for the prostitutes too. She was like, just because they're prostitutes.
Why is John Cryer there?
Because he had been, like, not showing up to set and, like, whatever. So he's like, I'm going to go check on him. This is like
sandwiches for the prostitutes.
Yeah. And she's like, just because they're prostitutes, like, they deserve to eat. It's not their fault. And I was like, you go, Denise Richards.
So kind.
She is. And the way you talk, like, the thing is, like, hearing the stories about Charlie Sheen when he is sober versus when he is on drugs is, like, I think Charlie Sheen is actually a very good, kind, like, likable person. And it's just, like, when he is on drugs is when he's, like, it's not even that he's, like, a bad guy. It's just he's, like, he's on meth, you know? Like, and I think it really goes to show, like, the difference between those two. Like, it is such a...
Well, it's probably what made people just want to help him all the time, because they knew they cared about him.
And I can't imagine, like, the heartbreak, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
And but it's crazy, back to, like, how many people love him. It really was not fair to John Cryer what he put him through, because Charlie Sheen was making, I'm sure you probably know the number, but he was making so much still on that show, even to when he was...
I don't know the exact number, but it's the most that anyone has ever made off of a...
It's insane, because I've never understood the appeal of that show. I never thought it was funny.
I watched it all the time with my parents growing up, and whenever I see episodes now, I'm like, this is so offensive. I can't believe my parents let me watch this.
My grandpa, my dad's dad, would watch it all the time. Like, every time we came over to his house, he was always watching it. And it's, like, the dumbest show.
Yeah. And so it's so stupid. It's a Chuck Lorre show, whatever.
Yeah.
And like, he's just, like, the darling of, what is it, ABC? NBC? Whatever. But John Cryer, like, he talks about, like, at first he's like, okay, like, they had a good relationship, and he started to be really concerned about him. You know, like he went to his wedding to his second wife and stuff, and then he was like, okay, he's, like, not showing up to set, or he's, like, not doing these things, or, like, he was like, he's clearly fucked up, but he would get all of his lines right, and then he started not showing up, and John Cryer's like, here's the thing, my whole job is based off of you.
Yeah,
so,
you gotta
like,
get it together.
You don't get it together, I don't have a job. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And I think, like, it just goes to show, so eventually it gets to the point where Charlie Sheen, like, says some stuff about, like, Chuck Lorre, and he also, like, he just says so many inappropriate things, and that's when they, like, kind of, because originally, like, he tried to step away and say, like, I'm not in a good place, so I need to, like, step away from the show, and then they just, like, offered him more money. And they were like, because it was the #1 show on television, people loved it. It was making so much money. And people say at the time, like, people looking back, they're like, your agent should have been like, he needs some help.
Yeah.
Like, he was literally, he said, I don't know, again, I don't even know what the drug names are, but he was like, I was banging 7-gram rocks and like walking around.
Yeah.
And a lot, like, his drug dealer at the time, this was crazy. They interview his drug dealer, who's also his close friend, says, like, yeah, I've never seen someone do that many drugs and survive.
Yeah.
Like, I've just never seen anyone do it. So then it gets to the point where Charlie Sheen has his, like, #winning era. And
Tiger blood.
Yes. And that is clearly, like, the darkest time of his life. He is constantly on drugs. He did a tour of comedy where people were just like, why is he, like even people at the, like, performances would be like, he should not be on stage. Like, he is not well.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, like, what it was, but he got to this point where it was, like, someone, like, he credits his drug dealer with, like, basically saving his life because someone, like, got to him and they were like, we have to do something. Like, he's just not going to survive. And so over the course of, like, a year or two, his drug dealer started giving him, like, less and less potent drugs. And eventually, like, just kind of, like, weaned him off of it.
Yeah.
Until Charlie was, like, able to just kind of be like, whoa. Like, he's not chasing that high because he's like, well, all these drugs suck.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know that. And also, like, he's getting clearer and clearer. And he's just like, what have I done? And how have I, like, what have I done to my life?
Right.
And so now he's been sober for, I think it's like 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
And they interview his children too. And they'll, like, their children, like, Charlie Sheen says one of the big things was his daughter was like, hey, I want to go, like, you're supposed to take me to my nail appointment or whatever. And he had been, like, drinking. And so he had to have his sober friend, Tony, drive him. And he was like, I know that my daughter was probably sitting in the backseat thinking, why wasn't this just a me and dad thing? Mm-hmm. Like, why is Uncle Tony here driving? I want to say his name is Tony. I'm probably getting it wrong this whole time. I don't know why. And
it's like Peter.
Yeah, I don't know. And so then he says, like, his kids are like, yeah, like, whenever I'm in trouble, if I need anything, my dad is the first person I call. And I think, like, just hearing that really goes to show, like, how much he's, like, kind of changed and turned it around.
Yeah.
And he says, like, his dad and his brother Emilio are not in the documentary. And he's like, I put them through enough.
Yeah.
And he talks about being,
Maybe that's what he said. Maybe he wasn't saying his dad's disappointed, but I know he said, like, the documentary was, like, for his dad or something.
And I think we talked about this before because, like, one of the clips that was going around was, like, him talking about, like, him having sex with men and how he was like, well, I don't know, you're at a restaurant, you see one side of the menu and then you think maybe I should flip it over. Yeah. And he does it so casually and cool. He's not like, I'm gay, I'm bi. He's just like, I mean, yeah, I was on drugs. Some of it was kind of weird. Some of it was pretty fucking fun.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. And then I moved on.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think, like, I think it's a really great documentary.
Yeah.
The setting is well done. The clips that they pull, the way they tell the story. Like, I know, like, everyone has told you about it, but I would really recommend it. Like, I just think it's, again, like, it's just such a good picture of drug addiction, how it affects you. Yeah. And also, like, how, like, his drug dealer weaned him off of it for years until he was, like, able to be like, okay, I feel good. Where, like, a lot of these rehab programs, like they've said, it struggles for a lot of addicts because you cut them off cold turkey and it's, like, much harder.
Yeah, because even if the drug dealer had been, like, maybe a little bit better of a person, he would have been, you know, assumedly, like, he would have been like, okay, I'm not selling you drugs anymore. But instead, because Charlie Sheen would have just gone to somebody else, instead he just, like, weaned him off of it.
Yeah.
And that's better almost. I
guess. That's why I was like, it's crazy to be on a documentary being like, I'm his drug dealer. But I was like, but I guess, like, yeah, you kind of did really help him out. Like, I think, like he says, he's like, well, he's one of my closest friends and my drug dealer. And you're just like,
is the guy out of the business now? Or, I mean, like, is he still...
He said he's, like, sitting in a condo. He's like, Charlie Sheen paid for this condo with the amount of drugs he bought. So.
Oh.
And again, like, I just, like, listening to Charlie Sheen sober, I think you're just like, I don't think he's a bad guy. I think, like, it's just hard to be a drug addict while also being an extremely famous person.
You know what? #winning. Now he's actually winning.
Yeah.
Not that winning,
they didn't mention he has, like, a tattoo #winning on his wrist.
No
I'm like, I wonder if he got that removed.
Or maybe he got it after. I don't know.
No, I mean, it's, like, in the footage of him being
gotcha.
like, Lion's blood, hashtag winning.
Tiger's blood.
Tiger's blood,
That was such a wild time, like, truly, because I remember watching his crash out on TV and just, like, but that was the time where people thought it was so funny. Like, no one really understood. That was the time, kind of the era, still almost, like, where you watch, like, when, like, Lindsay Lohan was, like, crashing out in public and everybody just sort of laughed and made a mockery of it. And it's, like, if that were to happen now, I think us as, like, a generation are a lot more understanding of things, like, and, you know, more empathetic, that it wouldn't be quite as big of a
absolutely
public.
And it's interesting because people have said, like, when he's having literally the biggest crash out of his life, and it's just like his agent's like, well, we're gonna put you on tour, and it's like, fuck that agent.
And you know what I forgot about is when he finally left 2.5 Men, and I forgot that Ashton Kutcher took over. It was
so weird, and I don't know why I've watched that part too. Like, my family really loved that show growing up, and I'm like, it wasn't good. I don't know, but I'm happy for him now, and I think, like, him sharing his story, I actually think is very powerful.
I hope he stays sober for the rest of his life.
I hope he does too.
It sounds like he, you know, is in a good. It sounds like everybody who's in his life is genuinely supportive of him.
Again, like, I think it's almost like a weird, like, the one layer is just like a love letter hit to his dad. Like, that is unconditional love.
Yeah.
Like, time and time again.
Just don't let Nicolas Cage back in his life.
Yeah, I would have loved to hear his perspective. God.
It's crazy, though, that because, like, you know, Charlie Sheen and Nicolas Cage went through the same things. They were both doing the same things, but it's almost like, it's interesting that, like, Nicolas Cage didn't quite go down the same. I mean, he's crazy, don't get me wrong, but, like, he's still a very successful actor, and so it's just interesting that he kind of didn't. I feel like he got him into stuff.
Correct, and again, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Nicolas Cage was never into, like, meth.
Yeah, there's always, like, the person that gets you into the things, but then they're able to pull away. Yeah. But it's, unfortunately, he just was unable to get out of that hole. Yeah. But yeah, it does. I've heard very good things about the documentary, so I might still give it a try, even though I know that everything that happens. Yeah. But, but speaking of documentaries, I did kind of want to talk about this a little bit.
Okay, I'm curious because I saw you put this on here and I didn't look up anything because I was like, Molly's gonna tell me.
Yeah, well, Kanye West has a new documentary out called In Whose Name, and it's shot mainly on iPhone by
shot on an iPhone 16
No, it
Pro.
is by Nico. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. Nico Ballesteros. Who he began recording the documentary in 2019 when he was 18 years old. I'm not sure where the connection is. I'm not sure how
also
he knows
on an iPhone?
Kanye. Yeah, I mean, much of the footage is shot on iPhone. And I'm not sure how he knows them and how this started, but basically, he shot the film in 15-hour shoot days, and he recorded over 3,000 hours of footage, and it was cut down to an hour and 46 minutes.
This reminds me of, like, the NXIVM cult leader, where he, like, literally started, he was like, people are going to want a documentary of me, so he just had people filming everything, and then it was like...
That's exactly what this is. And the thing is, I'm very curious what his intention with this documentary was, because it is not in his favor the way I think he thinks it was supposed to be. But, like, so some of the footage in the documentary has been shared to social media, and the documentary's come out, but, like, the footage is on social media now.
Oh, where's the documentary?
It premiered somewhere. I don't think it's, like, on anything, but I think it did come to, it premiered. I don't know where, but basically the footage just shows Kanye, like, engaging in a lot of tense conversations with different people, and but it includes his now ex-wife Kim Kardashian, Kris Jenner, Michael Shea from SNL, and Pharrell Williams. But basically the documentary covers, like, 6 years of his life, and includes his struggles with bipolar disorder, which he was diagnosed with, I think, in, like, 2016. Yeah. His performances with the Sunday Service Choir, his unsuccessful 2020 presidential campaign, and the collapse of his marriage with Kim Kardashian, as well as, like, his hateful anti-Semitic public outbursts. And some other notable people in the documentary include Lady Gaga, Chris Rock, Drake, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and Charlie Kirk. Yeah. And so, but just some of the footage I have seen, Alexa, it is so disturbing. It, like, I don't understand how this is a documentary about Kanye and how he is like okay with this being made, because I don't know if he like he must think that this just is different than what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand what his intention is with this.
What have been like the reactions to it?
Well, everyone's like, he's psycho, because basically, so he gets into a huge argument on the phone with Kim, where he says that he's a slave to the industry, and Kim says that he shouldn't say that because just because you're a hard worker, that doesn't make you a slave. Like, you shouldn't say that. And she basically tells him that like he's ruining his reputation, he's gonna regret his actions, and he freaks out when she says that. He's like, "Don't ever tell me I'm gonna regret." Like, I think that's what it was that she said, but he like freaks out on her for that. He freaks out on his cousin and Kim Kardashian at one point because he's trying to build, I might be getting this part wrong, but he's trying to build a school in like Uganda or something. They go somewhere where it's like he's trying to build something, and he invites the president, and it's like his cousin is telling him that it's like a bad idea. He is screaming in her face, and Kim is there like crying, like she's kind of like getting emotional because, I mean, it's so upsetting. You're seeing this person. I can't imagine how she feels. This person that she had 4 children with, and he's just a different person. And
I'm sure. I feel like whenever I saw like he was on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, I saw them like in public in general, I was like, you know what? Whatever you think about Kim Kardashian, she's probably going through it.
Seeing this footage, my heart genuinely like went out for her, because I can't even like. And again, this is not her documentary. This isn't her show where she's looking good, like made to look good. It's his documentary, so I can't even imagine.
You know what that makes me curious, though, when you're like, I can't believe he would let this, like, footage out, whatever. It makes me wonder if, like, maybe this was the best of it. Like, what is the footage
that's
we're
what
not
I'm saying.
seeing?
That's what I'm saying. And so that's why I'm just like, you think this is making you look good? You know? And then he gets into a huge argument with Kris Jenner, where he's legit screaming in her face, like legit, like I don't even know, like that upset me too. And you can say what you want about the Kardashians, they also have their flaws, but it like really upset me to watch, because like he basically blamed because she's like saying he's not taking his medication because he doesn't want to take medication for his bipolar, which like you actually
he literally has like songs about it. And
like the thing with bipolar disorder is like you have to take medication for it. There's just like no other way around it. And you can see him. You are seeing him not on medication in this documentary. And so basically he's like blaming the family for having an effect on his mental health. And like Kris Jenner so she says like, you know, it doesn't matter what people are saying online about him. And he like starts screaming in her face. He's like, it does matter. It does matter. And he's just like, he's literally screaming. And he tells Kris that he would rather be dead than take his medication. And then, but it's interesting, as much as he is like he loves to yell in women's faces. But the minute that Michael Shea, who he's from, you know, Michael Shea from SNL, the minute that he checks him backstage in SNL, remember when Kanye went on that weird rant when he was the musical guest on SNL, and he like, they cut it from the show, but he was like on stage afterwards, just going on this wild rant. And Michael Shea confronts him about it afterwards, and it's in the documentary. He's like, he's in his face. Kanye is silent. He's like stumbling over his words, and basically Michael Shea is just saying like, you know, why would you do that to us? Like, we treat everyone at SNL who comes in here like family, and you just threw us under the bus. And he's like in his face, like talking to him. The documentary, the guy's shooting. And Kanye is like, he's stumbling over his words. He's not saying anything. But it just goes to show you that, like, he can yell in a woman's face. And it's just like the minute a man confronts him, he's
I mean, obviously, Kanye West is not a person who respects women in any mile or means, you know?
And what gets me about him, and I don't know if this is part of his disorder, but he truly thinks he's a god. What he says, he thinks what he spews is, like, poetry and just
he literally thinks he's, like, a genius.
Yes. Like, and I do think his music is genius. But I think
in the beginning,
person, as like an artist, I think his lyrics and his music were genius. But like, I think he is insane.
Oh yeah,
and I don't mean to say that I'm not saying that about his mental illness, but I'm just saying like, I mean, just the way, because I don't think a mental illness can be a substitute for being, like, can be an excuse for just being an awful person.
No.
And the things that he says, like, all the anti-Semitic comments he made, like, and so you just see in this documentary you really see him going through an episode.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I feel like a lot of people used to, like, say, like, Kanye kind of lost it after his mom died,
Yeah.
which was kind of early on. And I feel like maybe, yes, and I feel like maybe it's because, like, people who have these things always have, like, a person who keeps them grounded or in check, and maybe, like, once she was gone, like, it maybe felt like he lost his, like, you know, like, the only person who was, like, able to kind of manage him. And maybe that's what it is, but, like, it just, hearing the way he treats women and then the way he would, like, talk about his mom just makes me mad, because I'm just like, you clearly don't care about women, but you're just, like...
It really makes me wonder what he was like towards, or is like, towards Bianca.
Oh my God.
Who is not even famous, not anywhere near the level of fame and power that Kim has. If he can treat Kim like that, and I'm not saying you should ever treat, no matter what your power, you know, what your hierarchy is, but, like... I'm just saying,
and, like, get away with it.
Yeah, if he can do that to Kim, imagine how he treated her.
Yeah.
And I think we saw it a little bit. It felt like there was, like, almost like a, I don't know, the way he would make her go out naked and all her appearances. It just, anyway, he's just, it really, I don't think it will have the effect, this documentary will have the effect that he thinks it has.
I don't know what he thinks it has. You know, like, I just, maybe he knows, like, it's going to paint him in a bad light and he doesn't care. I don't know.
Because, again, this isn't Keeping Up with the Kardashians. This, or, you know, the show, like, it's his documentary. But, and it's, a lot of the documentary from what I've seen is, like, is him being confronted by people, like Pharrell or whoever, or Chance the Rapper. At one point, he starts screaming in Chance the Rapper's face. Like, it's them trying to tell him stuff, like, hey, don't do this, don't do this. Like,
at one point, it was like he posted screenshots, and it was like a group text with, like, him, Jay-Z, and Pharrell or something, where
Pharrell
they were, like,
was trying to tell him,
like, hey, man, I think you need to, like, chill out, or, like, you need to, And so I actually am curious to watch it.
I am too. I mean, from the footage I've seen, I'm serious. Like, it's actually very disturbing.
Yeah. And again, like, I think that is the tough thing about, like, I always hear about people who, like, are bipolar, who have, like, schizophrenia or etc., where they just, like, don't want to take their medication, because, I mean, the side effects can be, like, those are, like, a lot of those drugs are huge, and so, like, the side effects can be rough, but also, like, the side effects of not taking it are awful.
I mean, I just think, like, especially with, I think with him, he's thinking of it as, like, you know, if it does, like, zombie him out or whatever, it feels like it's taking away his creativeness, but it's like, you have to, because otherwise this is what you're like without
and I think
actually very scary.
I think you've been creative enough, and I think maybe, like, you need to, like, get yourself
focus on yourself
and your family, you know, like, you've put out, you're a Grammy award-winning artist, you are one of the greatest artists of this generation, so it's okay.
I'll never forget when Pete Davidson, and this is before Pete, like, started dating Kim, but, like, he was on the Weekend Update and he was, like, making fun of Kanye about, like, or, you know, he was talking about Kanye being off his medication. He was just like, it'd be like if a pilot got on the intercom and was like, I just want to let y'all know this is the real me. Like, and everyone would be like, no, please, like, take your medication. Like,
well, it's like, have you seen, like, the South Park Kanye episodes, like, where it's just, and it's interesting because even then it's like, maybe he was on medication then, but you could still tell, like, kind of something's going on there.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange, a little bit, like, whatever.
Yeah.
And I just, I think I will be watching it. It'll be interesting.
I will too. It's the footage, though, I had to talk about it because it's, like, I've been seeing it, and it just, each video is just him, like, confronting somebody or being confronted by somebody, and he's just screaming, and the screaming at Kris Jenner actually was very upsetting, because it's like, it would be scary as a woman just being like,
I'm sure it was scary, like, living with him, like, being in a marriage with him.
And imagine, I mean, having 4 kids with him, and, like, what do you do? Because he has the right to see his kids, so you'd be scared to, like, let your kids with him.
Right, exactly. And it's interesting because I do think, like, I don't know who Kanye's fan base is anymore, but even, like, Chris used to say, he's like, I used to be, like, the biggest Kanye fan. Like, I thought he was, like, the greatest artist ever. And then, you know, he turned anti-Semitic and, like, weirdly MAGA also. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of like, okay, well, I forgot he announced, I regularly think about Kim Kardashian's face when Kanye West is like, and I'm running for president.
And I'm running for president. He also announced without telling her, and they covered this in the documentary too, but he announced without telling her that he was moving to Chicago. He was like, yep, we're moving to Chicago. We're moving back to Chicago. And she was like, we didn't have that conversation. Why would you just publicly announce that?
Right.
But, like, that's what she had to live with constantly, was him just, like, making these wild decisions and saying all this stuff. And
I'm curious what it was like when they first got together. Like,
me too, because I think
if he showed any of these tendencies, or
he's always had sort of a narcissistic personality, but you were kind of like, but he's Kanye and he's a genius, and Kim has always sort of seemed a little narcissistic. So I felt like they, and not necessarily in a horrible way, just, I mean, she obviously that's just how she, you know, I think we all know that. And so for the two of them to be together, I was kind of like, I get it, because they're both sort of like that. But I'm sure it's definitely not the person she married. I'm sure she's really grieving the person she married.
And I could see his personality also being someone, like, when you first start dating, where it's just like love bombing to, like, the 10,000, where you're just like, oh, this is amazing. I will say I love seeing her videos with North West, where she does, like, these, like, get ready with me videos, and it's her and North, and it's very cute.
Yeah, North seems kind of wild, too.
Yeah, but also, I'm like, she's, like, what, 13? So maybe she's just a 13-year-old who is going to inherit billions of dollars, you know?
Yeah, I can't imagine what a life with Kim Kardashian and Kanye West as your parents being.
Oh, I don't know.
But actually, in the video, like, with Kris Jenner was yelling, or she was, like, crying, and she was like, I want Kim to, like, love you the way that she wants to love you, or whatever. Like, it was like something like that. It was just it was really sad. I don't know. So yeah, that I'll be curious to see it.
I'm gonna look it up where you can watch it after this. It's probably Apple TV. It's on an iPhone.
I think it just premiered somewhere. I think the footage has been shown, like, shared on social media, but I don't think it's actually, like, on anything.
And that's one thing, is, like, very rarely do I like documentaries where it's like the person it's about has endorsed this, but that's, like, the Charlie Sheen documentary. I was like, this is he's talking about putting an ice cube up his ass, you know, like, he's being very, this is not a sugarcoat look at me type of documentary. And it sounds like the Kanye West one isn't either.
I think it was meant to be, but I don't know if it is.
Yeah. But anyways, that's all we had for you guys this week. Happy to be back in the studio together.
Yay. Oh, we're
shaking hands. You can't see us.
The microphone. Sorry if that was loud.
And as always, please like, rate, review, subscribe, share with your friends. We always want
more friends. No, I'm just saying it with you.
More friends. Because it's just us two and Poe. Like, you know?
Yeah.
And we need to expand our
To
universe.
be fair, we do have, like, to be clear, we have other people in our life. Oh, okay.
It's just us and Poe.
In this attic. Is it like flowers in the attic? Like, we're just up here in this.
I hope so.
You know what's interesting about your house? And I mean this in, like, a really warm, like, loving way. Is, like, this room feels like we're in, like, a cozy attic, but it's not.
Yeah, it's the slanted roofs. Or ceilings. I actually really hate them.
Okay, did you actually watch the preview for The Housemaid, though?
I watched a decent amount of it.
Okay. Well, I watched some of it, and they showed the attic. It is not at all what I pictured the attic looking like. For those
I need to look at it again.
Yeah, The Housemaid movie is coming out. Whatever. Anyway, I wanted to talk about that with somebody, because I'm like, that's not. I pictured it looking like a shitty attic, and they made it look so.
Yeah, they make it sound like it's a shitty attic.
Yeah, it's like bright and colorful. Anyway,
interesting. But anyways, so if you want to be our friends, we want to be your friends. So share us, subscribe. And also follow us on Instagram at Poppin' In Podcast if you want to see our questions of the week, our out of context posts, and also just interact with us in general.
And also follow us on TikTok at Poppin' In Podcast.
Yeah, slide into our DMs. We love a little flirt. We love a little fun. And if we don't hear from you, I guess we'll see you next time. Bye.